Hey, this is Derek, and welcome to another Devil May Cry 5 Vergil video. Yes, I have not had my fill of talking about this character, and so what I wanted to do is, from the streams that have come up from the last couple days, I've actually managed to compile the bulk of Vergil's move list. The majority of the footage actually comes from the official Capcom live stream that was streamed just this past Friday, and that was hosted by Matt Edwards. Huge shout outs to him. And so they actually took, Matt actually took the first like 30 to 40 minutes of the stream to actually walk through Vergil's entire move list. So what I've done is I've actually trimmed it down and edited it so we can actually streamline and look at just all the moves in their entirety. Now we don't have everything, primarily because when Vergil goes into his Sin Devil Trigger form, much like in Devil May Cry 4, essentially all of his combo strings are enhanced, and there's like a couple extra hits. Usually the finishing hit is much bigger, more impactful attack. I don't have all of those, but we have to leave some things to the imagination, right? So I have basically everything else like lined up, ready to go, and so I wanted to just essentially walk through it and provide some analysis, as well as just share my thoughts as we go. So without further ado, let's dive in, baby. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the first thing we have is Yamato's combo A, and it's just like a standard, really quick, like 5-hit slash combo, right? And then just knocks them away. Combo B is essentially the main combo string from Devil May Cry 3, just 2 hits and then like a knockback slash. And then combo C is like the million slash style, like crazy attack. And then that's Aerial Rave A, just like a quick like 2 hits and then a knockdown. And then this is Aerial Rave B. So kind of similar to what it was in DMC4. He essentially has this roulette style spin, which he goes a little bit higher into the air, and then this knockdown attack. Now this is Rapid Slash, and what Matt's doing here is he's actually showing the difference between the Judgment Cut timings. There is a just frame timing, which essentially, as you're holding down the attack button, as soon as it glows and Judgment Cut is ready, if you release it right then and there and you have good timing, like if you have the correct timing, then you will get a just frame Judgment Cut, which you'll see because Vergil doesn't actually move. Whereas if you compare it to here, this is not a just frame, this is just normal timing. Vergil actually takes a quick dash back. So the advantage of the just frame timing is like, not only is it faster on account of the fact that Vergil's not doing this back step, but it also does more damage, which is really, really juicy. And what you'll see here, this is Rapid Slash, by the way, making its debut. What you'll see is that almost every move of Vergil's can actually be canceled into these just frame Judgment Cuts, and it looks really, really, really cool. So this is the other aerial move. It's kind of like the Helmbreaker, Yamato's like Helmbreaker style attack called Aerial Cleave. One thing to note is look at the launch. Look at the ground bounce on this move. Just pop right up in the air for you. It's like Christmas. They are just ready to be devoured. So that's really, really nice relaunch there. Now this is the new move that they've introduced called Void Slash. This is a perfect angle for it. Basically what it is it's like this slow motion kind of slash, and then right as Vergil sheathes Yamato, it actually triggers this vacuum effect, which actually pulls the enemy towards you. And of course, once again, you have the just frame Judgment Cut cancel, which is very, very nice. Now this is Final Judgment Cut, which is one of 3 new ultimate attacks. They're not like officially ultimate attacks. I'm just kind of calling them that because it kind of makes sense and just for reference. So this one is, what Boss Vergil has, where he does like the million slashes everywhere into the giant explosion and the nuke. Now, as I said, all 3 weapons have one of these attacks, and there are requirements. You can't just spam these. So there's 2 sets of requirements, and you can do either or. So the first requirement is you have to be in Sin Devil Trigger, right? So that's condition 1. The other condition, if you satisfy that, is you have to be full concentration No, sorry, level 2 concentration and full SDT bar. And so what will happen is it'll actually, I'm not sure how it impacts your concentration, if it uses all your concentration, but I know for sure it uses all of your SDT bar. So it is expensive, but the payoff is that Vergil's almost, not only does it do a ton of damage, but you're almost fully invincible once it starts up. Like even here, essentially everything's frozen, right? So there's no chance that Vergil can be hit. And then you'll notice as soon as he sheaths his sword, essentially triggering the nuke, the explosion, he's able to move instantly. So there's almost like no recovery. So very, very powerful moves, which is, you know, what you'd expect to see with Vergil anyway. So we're not going to complain. And then of course, my boy Beowulf is back and looking sexier than ever. Jesus, I can't even talk. It's Vergil hype. Don't worry. Okay. So we have combo A here, which is like the quick little, you know, 2-punch combo into the kicks. Combo B is the million kicks into the back step and then the punch there, which is cool. Killer B, of course, making its debut. And one thing to note is that it does launch. It kind of like launches and like blasts the opponent away, but the angle that it does it at is really weird, you know? Like it's not like straight up. It's not like a clean relaunch or juggle. So it'll be interesting to see how you can kind of take advantage and how you can kind of pick this up and combo and juggle after. So that's Killer B. Lunar Phase, of course, making its return, and you can do it in the air as well, which is nice. And then you have the Beast Uppercut in the different variations. So if you're level 1 concentration, then you actually get the full follow-up where you go into the air. If you have level 2 concentration, then you get the second hit. And it has been confirmed that there is a third charge. So you'll see that Vergil's Fist, if you're not necessarily familiar with the concentration, I'm still learning, essentially how it glows twice. So there's 1, there's 2. If you have full concentration, there's a third charge as well. And I don't think it does a third uppercut. So you'll see here how he goes like 1, 2. I don't think there's a third one, but it does do more damage. And then this is just that move where it's like if you jump next to them, they take damage. Kick 13 has come back, but you'll notice that there are 2 variations. So the way you do this move is back to forward on the left analog stick plus attack, right? So the normal version is if you just press attack. So you do the input and then just press attack. But if you hold attack, he does Devil May Cry 3 Rising Sun. And as a DMC3 fan, like you guys know, I am so happy to see this move back. Like, holy shit. And like you are at the perfect height to continue juggling them. So very, very nice. Props, Capcom, props. You guys have done above and beyond on this. And then of course, here's Beowulf's ultimate attack, which is called Hell on Earth, which is the Street Fighter like punch of death. Anyone who's ever played Akuma or watched Akuma in one of the some of the recent Street Fighter games, I know in Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 5, Akuma always had this like massive, he raises his fist and then does this crazy ground pound explosion. So once again, either you have to be in your Send Devil Trigger or full concentration, full SDT meter in order to pull those off. And then of course we have Mirage Edge, which is so nice. So from a design perspective, I love this because, you know, canonically it doesn't make sense for him to have this weapon. So it's like, okay, how about he just materializes it? He can do it with the summoned sword. So why not do it with an actual full-blooded sword? So not only, I really, really love the design of it and the concept of it. But one thing I also do want to point out is look at how long it is on his back. And if you actually compare that to what Force Edge like physically looked like and how large or long Force Edge was, it's been pointed out to me that it's actually longer. So this is almost as the same size as Rebellion. So not only from, you know, a visual standpoint that doesn't look awesome, but the sword itself is actually longer, which means more range. So just a nice little quality of life change. Thank you, Capcom. It is much appreciated. So we have our combo A here, which is just a quick little combo into a stinger. Ender. And then of course we have combo 2 where he just does a flurry with both swords, absolutely fucking sick, into the ground bounce launch, which is very, very nice. Round trip, of course, making its debut. No surprises there. Helmbreaker, you know, pretty standard stuff. And it'll be interesting to see. One of the things I'm going to be looking forward to is if you can Helmbreaker and then cancel that into an air trick and essentially do that sequence where you go Helmbreaker air trick, Helmbreaker air trick, kind of duplicating or recreating the Devil May Cry 3 tech. Now Stinger, one thing I actually want to point out about the Stinger is it doesn't look like just a normal Stinger. Like, you see the effects, the after effects behind it. This looks to me like Dante's Devil Trigger Stinger. Like, you know how it's enhanced and hits more? Has, like, you know, multiple hits? I think that's exactly what's happening here. I mean, just look at the effects. Like, this looks painful. This looks like it hurts. So I'm really curious to see the impact and the damage, especially on like the heavier demons like the Proto-Angelos and things like that. And of course, Million Stab. It's always nice to have the option. It's a great way. If you can just Stinger into Million Stab, it's a great way to actually close range and get your combo started. And of course, Stinger can be done in the air. And of course, you have Drive, which is really nice. And then this is Overdrive, which is like this slow. It kind of reminds me, I forget what it's called. It kind of reminds me of Nero's Devil Trigger attack, where he basically does this, but it's like an X, right? And it's a really like slow hitting multi-hit attack, which is really, really nice. So not only did it hit this guy in the ground, but I could potentially see situations where you can combo into this and like the enemy's just being juggled, because it looks like it hits 5 or 6 times. Yeah, it looks like about 5 or 6 hits before it finally dissipates. So I'm sure you'll be able to combo into that, and it'll be a nice way to juggle them. And then finally, this is the Mirage Edge ultimate attack, which is called Deep Stinger. So one thing that's really cool about this is that you have complete control about where this thing goes. You can basically direct it any way you please. So for those who did pre-order the PlayStation 5 or get their hands on a PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X and will be able to play the special edition of the game in Legendary Dark Knight, I could see this move being so much fun to just mow through a group of like 20 or 30 enemies and just completely cut them down. Now, these are the summoned swords, or in this game, they're referred to as the Mirage Swords, or Mirage Blades, excuse me. So you can charge them down again. You have the Blistering Storm. You have the Sword Storm, or Blade Storm, I think it's called. So one thing that's cool, this was how it was in DMC4, which I only learned recently because I didn't really play DMC4 that much, but this move launches, which is very nice. In DMC3, it kind of would just hit the enemy, and it would have a hanger effect, but it wouldn't actually like relaunch them like this. And it launches them high, like these guys go flying, which is really, really cool. And then of course you have the heavy rain blades. Now, one thing that was pointed out to me, and apparently this was the case in DMC4 as well, but again, I didn't really play it, is that once you actually trigger these attacks, so let's take Heavy Rain Blades, for example. Heavy Rain Blades is once you have the swords out, you go back to forward on the left analog stick while locking on plus shoot. And then if you hold down the shoot button, you can actually delay and control when the swords actually fall. So, you know, it's just one little extra tool for the player's toolkit. A little bit, one additional element of control that you can use and incorporate into your combos. Now, for those who don't know, Vergil's regular Devil Trigger isn't actually for a transformation. It's for this doppelganger. So he essentially creates a clone that is tied to Yamato, unfortunately. But one thing that they have confirmed, and you can see it here, while Vergil is in Beowulf, essentially charging combo 2, he's got the clone doing Judgment Cut, right? So that's really, really cool. So he's essentially he goes bop, bop, and then while he's charging, he's got the, he's essentially charging the Beowulf attack, and he's got the clone doing Judgment Cut, and so he can kind of chain these two together, which is really, really cool. And they have confirmed that the doppelganger has 3 different settings, kind of similar to how it was in Devil May Cry 3. So you can make the doppelganger match your timing, go faster than you or go slower than you. So a lot of combo potential here. I cannot wait for this character. And of course we have our Sin Devil trigger. Now, again, because the Sin Devil trigger and the DT bar technically use different bars, you can do your Sin Devil trigger and then use the clone at the same time. Now, this is what I was alluding to at the beginning of the video, and I don't have what all of the enhanced combo strings look like when you are in STT form, but just to give you an example, this is the basic, 4-hit combo for Mirage Edge, and you can see he adds an additional hit at the end of it, and this is the Yamato one. This is normally a 5-hit, and this 5-hit combo, this version adds 2 additional hits, and from what I've heard, this move hurts. Like, look at how far that guy goes flying, right? So all of the enhancements, this is what kick 13 looks like. Look, so look at this. It's normally like 4 kicks into a launcher. It's literally 13 kicks. Like, it's insane. So it'll be really interesting to see what all the enhanced versions of these attacks look like. And this is the Mirage Blade combo B, where he's doing the flurry with both swords. Now, one thing is when he's spinning here in STT, apparently if you're mashing the attack button, you can actually get additional hits. So you can actually extend and do more hits as you're spinning when you're in STT, which is very, very nice. And then finally, the 2 air taunts. Okay, so the normal air taunt is he shoots out these like 3 summon swords, and if they hit the opponent, they actually do like a pop-up, like a launch, kind of similar to Dante's Rose Toss. However, if you are in an S rank or above, your taunt is the first hit of the Devil May Cry 3 aerial rave. And like, when I saw this, I lost my fucking mind. Are you shitting me? Capcom actually put this move in the game. It was missing from Devil May Cry 4. And like, I mean, how can you complain? How can you criticize or say anything bad about this iteration of Vergil? Like, honestly, like, this is so freaking cool. Like, yeah, it's on a taunt button, but I mean, by this point in the game, if you're playing Dante, I jump cancel his rows all the time. Or I jump right after it, or I teleport after it. So jump canceling this is not going to be hard, even if you have to kind of move your thumb over to press the select button. But man, what a really, really cool, what a nice little tidbit, a nice, little quality of life feature that Capcom did. So once again, basically, if you're just doing a normal air taunt, this is what it'll look like. You'll get the pop-up, but as soon as you have S rank or above, it'll become this. And it's essentially a full-fledged attack that does damage. Like, you can kill demons with this. And then finally, of course, yes, World of V. So how this move works is it's the length of the summon and how many familiars V summons is all based on your concentration meter. So it's basically like a nuke. This is essentially you're watching a cinematic unfold. You have no control over this. And the length of the attack, as well as how many summons you actually get, like whether it's just Griffin or Griffin and Shadow, or maybe it's Shadow and then Griffin and Shadow. I'm not sure on the order. But like, for example, Nightmare. I know Nightmare will only come out when you have max concentration. And essentially V comes out, does his nuke, and then Vergil, who's like lying dead on the floor, essentially gets back up and then can resume playing. And so essentially what the idea is that will consume your entire concentration bar. I've heard that there is it's one cost of DT bar but it doesn't, it's kind of like its own thing from SDT. So it will be, especially because the 3 ultimate attacks are so expensive, and Sin Devil Trigger is really the only way that you can actually recover life. The World of V is actually designed to give you life back. So it'll be interesting to see how it can be utilized and where it fits in Vergil's kit when he's playing harder difficulties like Dante Must Die. But in any case, guys, that's it. We've essentially gone through the entire move list, or at least the clips that I was able to grab. I think it goes without saying that this is probably arguably the best iteration of Vergil. It's going to be the best he's ever been. And you know, it's a little bit of a ways out, but I feel like, you know, time is flying and he'll be here in no time. But we're about 5 weeks out from getting our hands on him when the DLC actually drops. So I, for one, I cannot wait. I will be there day 1 on launch. And if we get any new news between now and then, you can absolutely bet that I'll be making another video on it. So with that, I will say thank you for watching. If you guys like this video, you know, hit me up. If there's anything that I got wrong, hit me up in the comments section below, because I'd love to talk more about this character. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.